I didn't realize how hard delegating was going to be for me at first. But once I started doing it, even though my heart was racing through the whole thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, why is this so hard for me? But one of the things that we've discovered is it's primarily rooted in some sort of fear of losing control, a fear of that someone's not going to do it as good as they're going to do it. And so they feel like they'll just do it themselves, not realizing that they're taking time away from doing the things that they really should be doing. And the cost of that, which can be very high.
So, full disclosure, delegating has never been my strong suit. And I know I'm not alone in this. A lot of us are protective of our businesses. We've built them from nothing. So handing pieces of it over to someone else can feel risky, even when we know it's a smart move. So I wanted us to have a conversation about what actually stops us from delegating and, more importantly, how to get past it. My guest is Renee Hastings. She spent a couple of decades supporting C-suite executives at Fortune 500 companies before starting her side hustle. And when her client base took off, she hit the same wall many of us do, working until 2 or 3 in the morning because she couldn't let go. Today, we're talking about how she moved past the trust issues, what you should be delegating first, and the mistakes that can hold your venture back. If you've ever told yourself, oh, it's just faster if I do it myself, this episode is for you. I'm Joan, and this is Side Hustle Hero. Welcome, Renee.
Thank you so much for having me, Joan. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm really glad you're here too, because I have a number of side hustle entrepreneurial skills, but delegating is definitely not a strength. And I'll admit to you that I am a recovering perfectionist, and we naturally do not make good delegators. And I know I'm not the only one out there, particularly since our side hustle is, well, it's our baby, so we're protective. So in your experience, why don't people delegate, especially even when they know they should? And what's the cure? So why not? And how do we fix it?
Right, exactly. And that is such a loaded question, and I get it a lot. And so because of that, and because of our experiences of real life lived experiences with clients and helping them through this idea of delegating is something that we've gotten good at. But one of the things that we've discovered is it's primarily rooted in some sort of fear.
Okay.
Fear of losing control, that perfectionism that you mentioned, a fear of that someone's not going to do it as good as they're going to do it. And so they feel like they'll just do it themselves, not realizing that they're taking time away from doing the things that they really should be doing.
Right.
And the cost of that, which can be very high in some cases. And there's just trust. Trust is at the foundation of it all. Some people discover that they have trust issues, like myself, when it came time to delegate. So a little bit about my story, Joan. When I started my side hustle, I had been working in corporate America for about 20 years in supporting the C-suite of executives in Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies. And my kids got grown, they left the house, and I still had this passion for serving executives. And it's something I could do with my eyes closed and hands tied behind my back. And I figured I knew just a little bit more than the person that was hiring me, then I could be successful in this business. And it worked out well for a while. But then the more our clients started to realize the difference that having someone in their life to delegate to made, the more they kept telling their friends. So not only did I have a full-time day job where I worked from 8 to 5, I get home maybe about 6 o'clock or 7, depending on traffic in Atlanta, and then try to cook a meal for my husband and then get started on my business, sometimes not till 8 o'clock at night, and then work till 2 or 3 in the morning. Then I'd take a nap, and then I'd get up and do it all again, starting at 6 o'clock, be at work by 8. So this cycle went on and on and on for months. And I was tired of living on just 3 or 4 hours of sleep because I loved my side hustle. It brought me so much joy and fulfillment. But when it came time for me to find somebody to hire, that's when I discovered these hidden fears that I didn't even realize existed, like trust, these trust issues I didn't realize I had until it came time for me to hand something off to somebody.
Right. And especially since you were the one that was doing sort of the work and the coordination for everybody in C-suite. now you're expected to turn around and delegate these things?
Exactly. So one of the things that made it a little bit easier was making sure that I brought on the right person on my team. So one of the ways I did that was by, first of all, just having a conversation, not even really so much an interview, but just kind of a discovery of how would you handle this kind of thing. So I would ask her the series of questions. And Joan, the way she responded was like my exact words. It was like I was looking in a mirror.
Wow.
And then she'd add on a few more extra things I didn't even think of. And then I was like, oh, this is my person. Okay. So, because she did that several times. And so when I explained to her what it was I was doing for my executives and asked her how she would deal with those things, and she responded to me exactly how I would, I felt a little bit easier about handing her something. And then when I did hand it to her, she would copy me, BCC me on things, and I would see how she was handling my clients. And she was handling them with kid gloves, white glove service, the exact same servant heart mentality that I had and what I used to serve my clients. She was doing the exact same thing. And so the more she kept doing that, the easier it got for me to delegate. So that was a really long way of answering that question.
Yeah.
It worked.
But for a while there, you had her do the BCC so that you could see if she was performing at the level that would be an expectation for you.
Absolutely. And then if I saw anything that didn't really sit well with me, I would not use them as to be critical, but I would share them as coaching moments or coaching opportunities, so that the words landed well on her and she didn't take offense or feel like I was nitpicking her. But I had a standard that I wanted upheld, and I didn't. And so when I saw an opportunity for me to make some adjustments and corrections in how she was doing, she appreciated them. And she didn't get defensive. And she was like, oh, yeah, that makes so much sense. And now I get it. Yeah, I'll definitely make that adjustment. And she did. And that's the key. People will say they will do some things, but do they actually do it?
Right.
So you have to trust but verify.
Yeah, because somebody can sound really good during the interview phase. And then...
Yes, absolutely. And now with the Chat GPT making everybody sound like geniuses on a resume, you know, when they actually get into to do the work, you really have to see, is this really consistent? And fortunately, what we have in artificial intelligence today is the worst it's ever going to be. There is a hope on the horizon that things will not always sound so mechanical. And there are now ways that you can even train your GPT, so many different strategies and tools for that. And you can customize GPTs for your clients so that each response you ask it for, when you put in a prompt, it will make it sound like that particular client based on the profile you set up of your client's voice.
Not the actual vocal, what you're hearing, but their style, the way they talk.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I go to delegate something, I need to have that conversation with the person that I'm delegating to in terms of what my expectations are, in a way that, not that I'm going to be checking up on them, but to be able to track what they're doing in order to make sure that we're on the same page. How do you do that? What does that conversation sound like?
Yes, every conversation should end with what success looks like.
Okay.
So if I'm handing you my inbox and I want you to go through and triage the important things, success looks like I'm not overwhelmed by my emails. The emails that are important got handled and dealt with. The emails that were not important got put away somewhere for either dealing with later or deleting. And there's not this chaos in my life because of the hundreds of emails that come in every single day.
And then part of that, again, that initial conversation is how you're going to be following up with them. Very much like you did with that first person that you said that you hired. In their case, they were doing the BCC so that you could see it. And that so that person knows in advance, as soon as you see a training opportunity there, we're going to have that conversation, because naturally it's going to take a little while for us to get on the same page.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. But when one of the benefits, or one of the, I don't know, blessings that she brought to me, is that she already came with so much experience
Yeah.
that it wasn't long before I couldn't delegate fast enough.
Give me
I
more
was
stuff
like,
to do.
like, hey, here, do this, do that, all the things. Yeah, do it all because she had proven herself over the course of some time. Yes. So, and at the very beginning, absolutely get BCC'd on everything, take those training moments and those opportunities, allow them an opportunity to prove themselves and to operate in their zone of genius.
Yep.
And then let them do what they do and do it well. And then every now and then you just touch base and say, hey, where are we on this? Where are we on that? To make sure that all the deadlines are being met and milestones and are, you're on track.
Mm-hmm. Well, what should be delegated then for the person that's growing their side hustle? And at what point should we start delegating?
Great question. So there's so many different things that can be delegated. We actually have a freebie that we share with folks called What Can an Assistant Do for You?
Okay.
If you're doing things that are not adding value to your bottom line, then you're doing the wrong thing. And that should be delegated.
What would a few examples of that be?
Posting on social media.
Okay.
Checking your own email, scheduling your own meetings, trying to find time to meet with people who are just as busy as you are, making your own travel arrangements,
Okay.
coordinating meetings,
Yeah.
all those things.
I know from experience there are a number of mistakes that can be made while delegating. What's one of the most common ones that you see?
I think one of the most common mistakes that new business owners and even some seasoned business owners make is handing something off to their assistant without proper explanation or background behind why they're being asked to do what they're doing.
Okay.
So that the person doesn't get a full scope or understanding of what's being asked, and they end up being like ticky-tack doers instead of strategic partners with you to help you bring your vision to life.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want a ticky-tack doer, then go out and get a ticky-tack doer. But if you want someone to actually partner with you to be able to speak into that vision that you have and execute on it in your absence, like you cast it, they go out and do it.
Yes. And the other argument for giving them the bigger picture is if they do run into problems executing whatever this task is, if they know what the bigger picture or the end result should be, they've got a better chance of problem solving that in the moment.
100%, because you want a problem solver. You want someone who's going to actually understand what the bigger goal is, what the bigger picture is.
Yep.
So that along their journey of doing all the things that it takes to bring this all together, they'll have a frame of reference for what is expected. And when they have that, it helps them know, oh, this isn't supposed to be a part of the situation. Let me troubleshoot that or fix that so that when I bring this to our client, then it already has addressed those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they become more valuable to you.
Absolutely. 100%. And so if you plan to just hand something to somebody and not say anything, you're actually doing yourself a disservice because your person is not a mind reader.
Right.
And so you want to set them up for success by explaining, taking the time up on the front end to explain exactly what it is, that the desired outcome. And then again, sharing with them what success looks like. In the end, this is what I want. Do what you got to do to make that happen.
So between that sort of the beginning and the start point, then what checks and balances do you suggest that we put in place so that there's ongoing accountability, but at the same time, they don't feel like we're checking up on them all the time?
I think regular meetings are critical because you need to know that you're going down the right path. You don't want to get so far down the road and then realize that you should have taken a left turn 2 events ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regular check-ins are important. It could be a daily check-in by text. It could be a weekly check-in for 15 minutes. It could be every 2 weeks for an hour. You have your own comfort level and issues with trust. So if your trust will not allow you to go beyond 2 days without a check-in every 2 days until you develop that.
How did you learn how to delegate?
How did I learn to delegate? I didn't realize how hard delegating was going to be for me at first because of these unforeseen trust issues.
Yes.
But once I started doing it and just kept, even though my heart was racing through the whole thing, And I was like, oh my gosh, why is this so scary? Why is this so hard for me? Why am I like literally shaking at the idea of handing something off to somebody else?
Right.
And so I actually surrounded myself with a group of women in my Bible study group. And I was like, yo, something is wrong with me. I have this person, I'm supposed to be able to delegate things to her, but I get so afraid. I get so fearful. And they're the ones who help ask me questions. Well, what if it's this? Or maybe you want to think about this or think about it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then helping me readjust and reframe how I thought about delegating.
Right.
That it really made it a whole lot easier. And then my person kept being so awesome.
Yes.
And
yeah.
so
yeah. But I'm sure there's times where you've hired people that it maybe on the surface or at first it looked like it was going to be a good match and turned out not to be.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. I have stories. There's one hire that I made. She looked so incredibly perfect on paper. And I gave her an assignment, and it was not the most common thing to be asked to do, but it's something that could have been done if a little time and effort and energy was put into maybe doing some research or asking around or doing some problem solving, and troubleshooting, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, she just quit. And she said, I have to protect my mental. And I was like,
excuse
me.
What?
Exactly. And so I was like, how could I not see that coming? Because it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, what do you mean? And so she just quit.
Yeah. Well, at least that person quit. I had somebody that I was hiring to do some podcast editing, and she was so excited about the job, and we had worked everything out. And to me, on the surface, it looked perfect. Mm-hmm. And then that was it. I was ghosted. I never heard back from her again. I'm
that
like,
is
really?
Yeah. That is just the worst. And it's so disrespectful. It's so rude. It's so aggravating and annoying. And it's so uncalled for. How about we just be mature and talk and like grown-ups and adult?
Like or even a quick email. I changed my mind. I got another job. Something.
Something.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Totally get it.
To how you learn to delegate. It sounds in addition to getting some outside counseling or coaching on it, it was a lot of trial and error.
Yes, it was absolutely a lot of trial and error. And there's some things that I realized that I couldn't delegate that needed to stay with me, at least for the moment. And when she was ready, then I could add that on to her later. So that just takes some discernment. It takes just watching and seeing how they're growing, seeing how much initiative they're expressing and wanting to do more and grow and meeting them where they are. So as I continued to get to know our team members and what they wanted ultimately out of their experience with us, then I tried to provide them opportunities in that space.
And what occurred for me this morning with someone was realizing that what they were supposed to be doing really wasn't in their wheelhouse. They excelled at certain things, but not this other thing that I was asking them to do. So rather than get mad at them, it's the realization, okay, this is just not their thing. We need to move on.
Exactly. And there's other people who wake up to do that thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So find that person and then give that job to them.
Yeah. Because you're not going to be good at everything. Like this thing that I was just mentioning, it was about event planning, and that really wasn't her thing.
Or just you can hand it off to the person and say, hey, can you do this part of this job for me?
Right.
So that I can get it back to the client.
Yeah. You being the delegation expert and me not that, is there something that I should have asked you yet that I haven't?
I would say sometimes people don't delegate because there's something inside of them that says that they're not worthy of being taken care of.
Interesting.
And I would like to dispel that. And I would like for everyone who is a founder of a side hustle, business owner, business executive, wherever you are, when you allow yourself to be served by someone else, I equate that to self-care. And in this day and age, we need to do all we can do to take care of ourselves. And allowing someone else to take care of you is equivalent to self-care. And there are people who wake up to do those things that you hate to do.
Right.
So
yes,
let them operate in their zone of genius and don't rob them of that opportunity. Don't be a robber.
What's the best way for our listeners to connect with you, Renee?
We have a website at executivehelpnow.org. We're not a nonprofit. It's a whole nother story. But there's a contact form on the website. If people have more questions about who we are, what we do, our amazing team is out there, and we're here and ready to serve and fill those gaps so that you can focus on the things that you're funded to do.
Fabulous. And I'll make sure to have us drop that link in the show notes.
Awesome.
So what's your best tip, Renee, to inspire others to start and grow their side hustle dream?
I would say believe in yourself, bet on yourself, surround yourself with people who can see your vision and speak positive life into you. Who you listen to matters, whether it's your friends, whether it is our books that you read, music you listen to. All of those words going in and out of your ears matter. So make sure they're the right ones.
Great advice. Well, thank you so much, Renee, for guiding us on how we can become better delegators in order to grow our side hustle, at the same time maintain our sanity. And of course, thank you for being today's Side Hustle Hero.
Awesome. Thank you for everything you do. You are made for something great. So go and be awesome.
Well, that's a wrap for today. I hope this conversation helped you see delegation a little differently and gave you a few practical ways to start letting go. And if our chats are sparking your entrepreneurial spirit and providing valuable insights, consider showing your support by visiting sidehustlehero.com/support. That's where you can shoot me a virtual coffee. It's a real thing and a fun way to give the show a caffeinated thumbs up. Thank you so much. In the episode description, you'll find a link to Renee's website, as well as a link to the full show notes, which live at our website, sidehustlehero.com. If you're enjoying what you're seeing in this podcast, it would be so appreciated if you would take a moment and add your comment, share the episode, and please subscribe. It'll let others know that there's valuable content here to help them start and grow their side hustle. Thanks for watching, and hustle on.